sitting round. United Texas town. About to shack outside the game. You know what I'm talking about. Just let me know if you wanna go to that home out on the range. They got a lot of nice girls. I'm
Hey guys, welcome back to another Logan Hall's Grill Streams. I'm actually finally doing ribs today. It's been, I mean, I've been doing this whole grill stream thing for several months now, maybe even, 4 to 6 months now. I don't even know. But I'm finally doing ribs. And so just to sort of, add on to the ribs, I decided I wanted to recreate the, infamous McDonald's McRib sandwich. So that'll be a part of what we're doing today as well. But first, what I wanted to do is actually just kind of go ahead and show you what I've been kind of working on for the past couple hours first, and then we'll kind of go downstairs and we'll actually um, take a look and see what the progress is so far. So let's go ahead and just sort of pop in here, just kind of see what I've been working on here. Let me see if, sorry, the third image, where did the, okay, yeah. So I just started out the charcoal basket with 2 pieces of oak and a little fire starter with some lump charcoal. I then sort of covered that up a little bit more, and then finally, this is what the ribs sort of look like prior to me actually cooking them. I'm using a new probe today, and I'll be kind of showcasing some new products that I've started to use just to sort of up my grill game even further. I know it seemed impossible to go any further than what I've been doing, so far, but yeah. So just in terms of the rub, so I mean, I did use like a mustard binder. You could probably see that a little bit there on like the edges, but in terms of the rub, it's just a pepper, salt, garlic powder, I think a little bit of paprika, um, and just some freshly ground black pepper. Again, very, very simple, very, very sort of basic. The sauce is where I'm going to add in a bit more spice, and whatnot. But anyway, let's go ahead and stop sharing, and I will go ahead and take you guys downstairs, and we will kind of check on the progress and see what I've been up to. So let me go ahead and just kind of sorry, actually I muted myself too. I didn't mean to go that far, but yeah. So the ribs have actually been going now for a little over 2 hours, and this is sort of a hot and fast rib recipe. You can definitely do ribs much longer and much lower temperature. The temperature that I've been using is 300 degrees throughout. And at the 2 hour mark, I basically did what's called a tinfoil boat, which kind of allows more browning up top and kind of stops the cooking process, at least on the bottom. So I'll get into all that here in just a moment, but we are now outside, and I'm going to position you guys so that you can see me. Here, let's flip my settings, camera. Yeah, okay, let's use this. All right. All right, so let me see what that looks like. Okay, I think that's a pretty good angle here. Actually, I'll have to lower that a little bit later on as we get into sort of the comments and sort of like the actual sauce making. But I think this is okay so far. Actually, one thing I want to do before we get started with everything is I want to show you the actual ribs themselves. So let me actually go to the back camera. Uh, let's see, select back. All right. So I have a new smart gauge. This one is actually just like a digital gauge, and it's from a company called Chef's Temp. This is actually going a bit harder than I want, but this is what the ribs look like right now. So they're pretty much done, and I think what I might do is just kind of leave this open actually while we make the sauce and sort of the onions and pickles and things like that because because again, we don't necessarily want this to cook sort of any further. It's pretty much done already. But what we'll go ahead and do is I will flip this back around so that it's facing me. Let's go front camera. All right. And what I'll do is we need to go ahead and make the sauce so that we can kind of glaze everything up, right? Um, And one thing I might, you know what, I will have to use the back camera and actually point it down. Sorry, guys. A bit of an amateur hour moment here. I actually um, haven't streamed or haven't done like a proper grill stream in quite some time here. So I'm having to relearn all this sort of as I go. But I think that's a good enough angle here. Let me get this a little bit closer. All right, I think you guys can see everything. Um, so anyway, the ribs are pretty much done. What we need to do now is we need to make the sauce. So I'm going to go ahead and turn on my induction stove here. We also have pickles. I have an onion, and we also have something called a mandolin. So a mandolin is a good way to essentially chop things at a very consistent thickness or sort of width. And so I think I will utilize that today for like the pickles and so like the onions and whatnot, because we want those. Well, I mean, like we want the sort of onions to be like fairly thin, and then personally, I like my pickles to be a bit thicker. And like the dill pickles that you buy from the store aren't always the best or whatever, right? So let's go ahead and get started on our um, sauce here. I'm going to lower the temperature. I don't want necessarily anything to burn, but what I'm going to do first is I'm going to start out with a bit of apple cider vinegar. And what I want to do to kind of just build the base of our sauce, we're going to be using ketchup. It's a very, very common uh, base for a lot of different sauces, including a lot of Chinese sauces here. So we're going to do about a cup's worth of ketchup here. And right as I started streaming, guys, unfortunately, it's starting to rain. So to sort of bear with me here as we get through the weather. But again, hopefully that won't affect us too much. I'm also going to use some Worcestershire sauce. Again, so I'm just going to again, like for most of these, it's going to be between like 2 teaspoons to like a tablespoon per um, per ingredient, right? But again, I'm just going to kind of eyeball it here today. So what we need next is actually some brown sugar. Cue the Rolling Stones reference. I need about a cup's worth of this. So again, I'm just going to kind of eyeball that. But that's going to give us our sweetness. Guys, sort of tell me whether you can see me well, like whether like my head's chopped off or anything. I guess I could actually just go to the stream myself and look at it on my phone. I have two phones, and there's one that I use to stream. Hopefully that one doesn't actually fly away or anything. Okay. I'm looking at it now, and it could go up just a little bit. So I'm going to adjust that, and hopefully that's a little bit better. I'm going to continue to lower this temperature just a little bit. But let's see. Have we gotten through all of the? Okay, yeah, that's better. Hey, hey, Genji, welcome. Hey, thank you. You just mentioned the part that I was thinking about. And I had to slightly adjust the camera just a little bit, but I think we're better now. So I think we've gotten all of our liquids. We've gotten our. Actually, there's one more thing. A little bit of molasses. And I forgot to bring a spoon out, but I'm just going to eyeball it. All right. So that's going to give it sort of like the thickness, the consistency. Let's just whisk that in. And let's season this thing up now. So we have a series of um, seasonings. If you're ever doing barbecue and you want salt that's not boring, you can use something called Lowry seasoning salt. It's sort of a spice salt, and I personally think it adds a nice little kick to it. So I'm going to add just a little bit of that. We're also going to use a little bit of kosher salt as well, but just a little bit because we've already used some salt there. I'm also going to use some garlic powder. Again, just going to eyeball it for now. Smoked paprika. A hint of cayenne pepper. Not too much, just a whisper of it. And we would also normally add pepper here, although something that I didn't think about was I actually ended up using all my pepper in the rub itself. So I'm actually out of pepper right now. So this sauce will be just a little less sort of interesting, I guess. Um, but those are all the spices here. Um, I just actually thought, I mean, I could use white pepper, which I do have. Um, but but again, I'm just like it's all the way inside, and I don't necessarily want to sort of leave you guys just yet. I'm going to add just a little bit more liquid here. It's already fairly thick, and what I'll probably do here in a moment is I will kind of bring you guys over here and allow you to see what this looks like. Yeah, so let's take a look here. So that's what we have going on here. Oh, there's a little splotch of seasoning that we forgot to mix in, but that's already looking pretty good. And I think I'll just go ahead and taste that. I think it's pretty balanced already. Um, but I may add just a little bit of water just to because it's fairly condensed right now. So let me do this. I'm gonna go grab just a little bit of water. Um, you know what? And then I can also grab the white pepper, and then I'll be right back. Yeah, so it's starting to rain a little bit. It's actually been very, very windy here in Nashville. And it's kind of stormy. Um, so that is our sort of black pepper substitute, just a little bit of white pepper. And I'm just going to thin this out just a little bit with some water so that it's sort of less, sort of less concentrated. I might have added just a little bit too much water, but I think if we let this sit for just another a minute or two, and if I get the temperature back up just a little bit, then that'll bring it kind of back down to where we want it to be. But anyway, let me quickly check my camera angle again. I don't want it to be too low. It looks like it's okay actually. So yes, a whisper. Some people boom. Exactly, Jim, exactly. Um, so I think let me check something real quick. Yeah. Um, so the internal temperature that we're shooting for is 203. This is actually the temperature that you want when you're doing brisket as well. Although it's kind of interesting, ribs are traditionally pork, and uh, brisket is more beef, right? But they kind of share that similar like final temperature, just in terms of uh, sort of like the final sort of resting temperature. So I think this is probably at a good point here where we can go ahead and start to glaze. Yeah, it's a pretty good consistency. So what I'll do is we're going to glaze this, and we're going to close the lid on on this for like another 5 minutes or so. 5 minutes. Oh, see, 5 minutes. So I'm going to leave you guys right there for a moment while I glaze these up. It seems like my stove is yelling at me because it doesn't like when it's on and there's not a pan on it, but that's all right. Getting the sides. All right, so I put the pan back on, and I'll give you guys just a quick look here. So that is a very nice color. And what we'll do, we're just going to close this up for just a couple minutes, and then we will kind of do just like a final temperature check, kind of shooting for like that 203 number, and then from there, we'll be ready to kind of piece everything together just in terms of like the actual sandwich itself. I'm thinking what I'll probably do is I'll actually just cut off just like one sort of rib first, just to try it, like just to see how I did. And then if it's good and everything, what I'll do is um, like one thing that's going to be a little bit different about my sandwich versus what they do at McDonald's is their hoagies are sort of fairly wide, and it's able to fit the can sort of fit the whole sort of rib sort of on there, sort of a perpendicular, right? However, however, so, so the only hoagies that I was able to find are actually fairly thin, unfortunately. So what I might end up having to do is just kind of make them parallel, I guess. Again, this will make more sense later on, but I think we are pretty much done with the sauce now, and I think what we can do is we can go ahead and get our pickles and our onions ready. Um, so I'm going to let's just do a sample pickle first, just to sort of get the width and sort of like the height, or not the height, but it's like the overall thickness that we want first. And then from there, I can also adjust it for the onions as well. But um, anyways, let's get this on, and let's just take one of these. Again, I could have just bought my own like pre-sliced pickles, but I prefer to have sort of better control of the thickness. So let's just try this. All right. So that's sort of the thickness that we have so far. I think I want to go a little bit thicker. So that says like 6 millimeters. That's better. Yeah, so 6 is the magic number there. In terms of our pickle number. Sorry, I'm just trying to get the non 6 millimeters out of the way. So let's go ahead and slice a few of these up. When you're using a mandolin, just remember to be very careful. You don't want to slice yourself when it gets towards the end. But let me do one more pickle here. You know, again, I want it like a meaty. Yeah, there we go. That's a meaty pickle. You probably weren't expecting me to say that today, but now I did. So let's kind of cut off the end just a little bit there. And then let's slice away. All right. I think we have plenty of pickles now. Check them out. So our pickles are done. And what I'll do actually is for the onion, these are going to be thinner. So I've got one onion here. I meant to actually cut off the end first, but I guess I could just do that here anyway. Yeah. Put that over here. You know, I really do need to peel off sort of like all the papery sort of skin and whatnot. So let me actually go get a knife real quick and then get this more to a sliceable state. So there's my train. Sometimes that'll make some noise. So again, apologies there. The glaze is looking good over here, although I do want to just check the internal temperature. So it turns out the sort of internal temperature is actually sort of quite well. I mean, like it's actually a lot lower than I thought it was. We're actually sitting at about 170 right now. So again, we want that to come up to closer to 203. So we might be waiting just a moment here for that to finally get sort of up to temperature. But that's okay though, because normally my streams are, 3 hours of chopping cilantro and whatnot. So again, it's like you guys are used to sort of like my sort of long streams. There are no sort of herb choppings today. It's again, you can't use. It's like you can't use like a mandolin chops like these types of herbs. Fortunately, OC. So no cilantro today, but I think we are now in a good spot to where we can kind of take some of this onion. Let's just make a spot for it here. And Yeah, so that's going to be too big. Let's go down to like 2 millimeters. And let me get the large ones out of the way. Yeah, that's much better. I'll bring the camera around here just a minute so you guys can see. But okay, so I'll bring you guys around, and here are the onions. Again, just very, very sort of thinly sliced here. So that'll be good for our purposes today. So we have our onions, we have our pickles. Um, I do just want to take one more reading on this, on these ribs here. I thought they were much higher, but I guess, I guess like this new probe may not be the best. So let's do one more check here. So 160, 70. Oh, that's kind of in the sun there. 175. Okay. So it's pretty much okay. Okay. So down there, it's much closer to sort of where it needs to be. But again, when you're checking your temperature, you always want to check where the thickest point is, right? So that one says about like 179, 180. Um, so we're gonna let that uh kind of finish up here. You guys, you guys sort of may also be wondering sort of why is my grill over here versus over there, sort of where it normally is. So let me talk a little bit about this new gauge here. So this is a product from a company called Chef's Temp, and it's sort of their S1 sort of like smart temperature gauge. Um, Normally here you would see sort of just like a standard gauge, you know, just maybe sort of one hand or so. Um, and I mean, like it's very much like a clock or like a watch, right? But with this one, it's more sort of digital. You can read both this with the ambient temperature, but then also there's a probe inside, and I'll just kind of open it up real quick so that you guys can see that probe sticking out. Um, but that probe is good. Sorry, my latch has been kind of wonky lately. Um, but again, sort of anyway, you have the ambient temperature, and then you also have the probe temperature there, which is really nice. You can also have like up to four probes apparently. And you can cycle between like channel one, channel two, channel three, and whatnot. Um, yeah, but again, for me, it's just sort of one channel here. Um, so again, so what we'll do is we'll just kind of hold on for a moment until this hits closer like to 203 ish, and then we'll pull it off. We'll do a taste test, and then we'll kind of build our sandwich. Um, in the meantime, we can go ahead and uh, make our hoagie here. So let me flip this up here. And again, let's see what that looks like on on stream here. Okay, that's pretty good actually. Um, oh, there's also sort of one thing here too. Um, so let's give a shout out to Mathis. Mathis actually gave me this sort of like studio light to help me with my lighting when I'm doing my streams, especially when it's sort of later sort of in the evening, right? So again, a big shout out to Mathis there for that. Just a just a really nice gift from like a nice guy. So again, thank you, man. Um, we are done with the mandolin, so I'm just going to set that aside, and we have our onion pile and our pickle pile. Um, the only concern I have is, I guess, letting these onions like stay out like for like too long, like they might kind of brown up a little bit. Um, but hopefully that's not the case. So again, where I live, we have Publix, and sort of Publix is a really nice, well, it's a nice grocery store. I mean, I wouldn't call it really nice. Um, but it's definitely nicer than your, typical Walmart or like your, Food City or whatever. Um, fun fact, I used to work for Publix many, many years ago. Um, back when I was sort of like, high school, sort of, college freshman, I guess. Um, but those days are over. So let's go ahead and slice our hoagie into two. Now we got two sides. One thing we could do actually is we could toast these buns up a little bit, sort of in there. Um, but again, so one thing I will need is a little bit of butter. So let me just go ahead and butter these inside real quick, and then we'll throw them on the grill just so that they kind of toast up. And then from there, we'll get closer to our final temperature and start to build the sandwich. So give me one moment, and I'll be right back. So now we're sitting at 187 in terms of the temperature. So let's butter these guys up, and we'll toast them. Now, when comparing this to the actual version that, it's like the version that McDonald's makes, I highly, highly doubt that they toast their buns. Fun, fun fact: I've never actually had a real sort of a McRib before. And there's those channels out there like they'll go actually buy one, and then they'll taste it, but then they'll make their own. Um, I didn't want to waste my money, to be honest with you. Even if it's like a $5 sandwich or whatever, um, because I know, I mean, it's not going to be that great. So let's just go ahead and use sort of my cooking skills and make a better version. So both of these ends are buttered up, and I'm going to um, leave these sort of here on the side. And I'm going to leave that open here just for a moment, because the temperature is getting just a little too high for my liking. But there we go. We have that cooking. And one thing I also want to show you guys here too is another gadget from this company, is basically a fan that is used to pipe air into your into your sort of cooker here. Mine has slightly kind of fallen off here, but again, the idea is, of course, uh, when you want to have a higher temperature, or when you want your charcoal to get hotter, you need to introduce more air to it, and you could just sort of blow into it, right? But again, that's not very efficient or safe. So I also bought this thing called like a Brizo fan, from the same company. And what's cool is it all links up through an app, and sort of all the components sort of talk to each other, and it sort of adjusts, um, you know, it will sort of change its, fan speed like in real time to, make sure that it's hitting the target temperature, and, not going over, like, and, things like that. I'm actually going to do a review of them, or sort of all these products here, pretty soon. I've already been shooting some of that already. Um, but again, I expect that to come out sort of later this week. And anyway, so let's go ahead and flip that back around. Um, uh, our internal temperature now is 193. So we have about 10 degrees to go. One thing I'll probably just go ahead and do is take these back inside. and start to clean up just a little bit. Because again, we've already made the sauce. We've already like buttered these up and everything like that. So I'm just gonna use this time while we wait for that additional, 10 degrees or so. I'm gonna kind of put some things back up real quick and tidy up. So talk amongst yourselves, and I'll be back momentarily. So I need to find the lid to my. Oh, here we go. So far, the onions are still pretty white, so that's a good sign. Yeah, I'm gonna take something back inside real quick, and I will join you guys in just a moment. I'll go ahead and take all these spices back in as well. I'll probably keep the sauce out here just for a little bit longer as we kind of do the final saucing, I guess. But let me check the angle here just to make sure it looks okay. Hey, Kevin. Hey, thank you so much for joining, Kevin. Again, you're always one of the first guys in the chat. So again, thank you for your support as always. Um, I hope you guys had a nice Christmas. I haven't really spoken about like the holidays yet or anything, but yeah, I mean, I had a good Christmas. I got to spend it with a lot of my family. Uh, got some nice gifts. Again, a lot of my gifts are uh, sort of cooking based, right? Because that's what I do. Uh, all the news for like the smart grill stuff was not a gift. It was just something that like I wanted sort of anyway. They were running like a Christmas sale, so I figured why not. But one gift that I got here, and I'll show it to you guys. I got this sort of flame torch to better light my fires here. So okay, so I'll give you a little taste of it. Pretty fun, huh? Um, so yeah, so I use that to light the charcoal now. Previously, I was using like that. This just like that one that's sort of yellow and it's slightly smaller, and it takes, about, 2 or 3 times longer to actually light fires with it. Um, so I decided, I wanted something that was a little bit beefier. Um, so that's what I got. I'm trying to think what else. I got some stuff for my cat. I, I did get like a knife sharpener, like a real nice knife sort of sharpener. Um, and so I will probably use that here in the next few days. I'm off this week, and then I go back to work on the 6th. So again, so it's been nice to sort of take this time off and whatnot. Um, but yeah, just a really good sort of Christmas. Again, a lot of our audience here also celebrates Hanukkah and Kwanzaa, like in Ramadan and all that. Um, so happy holidays to you guys as well. And we also have New Year's coming up. There's of course a lot of New Year's Day bowls and sort of lots of football to watch, but there's also a lot of New Year's sort of festivities, of course, right? There was a stream sort of earlier today, and sort of OC was talking about how he's never been to Times Square during sort of the New Year's Eve sort of celebration, or like the ball drop or whatever. And I totally get it. I don't want to be there either, man, because you know, from what I'd heard, sort of, everybody that's there has to wear diapers, and they're bundled up. Some people even bring like tents and like camping, and like, I mean it's not worth it. uh, I will very gladly just sort of watch from the comfort of my heated home with some hot chocolate, or some getting some nice champagne too, right? I mean, I'll definitely be popping a bottle on New Year's. How did you guys enjoy 2024? Was it a good year for you? And sort of what are you looking forward to in 2025? For me personally, 2024 was good to me. Nothing bad happened necessarily. I got the tutor, GMT, so that was a nice pickup there. Um, and there's a possibility I might be getting something else soon. Nothing's sort of really confirmed at this point. But again, I would be not trading in, but selling two of my pieces to fund this piece. So, um, and then I would be down just like to one sort of, sorry, I would then be down like to two watches. The but anyway, that's something that sort of may or may not happen in like the near future. It might be closer to like the summer. I'm not sure, but anyway, I do have something sort of coming up there. Um, but yeah, I mean, 20, yeah, again, the year was good for me. Um, I mean, like another good thing was I started this channel, right? Um, this whole like grill stream channel thing was just sort of a joke at first. I mean, Mathis came out with sort of like a colony, sort of intro video, I guess, and at the end there was like a lot of these like almost like credits, I guess, and it was like OC's streams, or breakfast with Lucha or whatever, and Mathis put in like a Logan Hall grill streams because prior to this channel I did show a lot of what I cook, sort of on the stream and whatnot, or well, not sort of on the stream, but I shared it like in chats and sort of like on again, like on Instagram and whatnot, like, and people liked it, like, and people appreciated it. Um, and it wasn't until when Mathis like put out that video of like having like a Logan Hall's Grill Streams like credit there. I was like, geez, maybe I should actually start a channel. um, so that's what I ended up doing. I did make a channel, and this is my 15th grill stream now. Um, there's also been a few sort of one-off streams. like I also did like my birthday sort of grill stream. I didn't really count that one as like a proper sort of a grill stream or anything, but then there's also been a couple pan streams too. Um, so let's actually, you know what? My app says we've hit the 203 mark. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to let's make some room for this for this for these ribs here. Now normally what I would want to do is I would actually want to get like some like some plastic gloves or like a latex glove, like and put these over this glove. But that is very difficult to do, and I don't really care about it. So I'm just going to grab these, ribs sort of as is, and then I'll throw these in the wash sort of later on. Yeah, that looks very, very good. Guys, one thing I want to do just real quick before we get into. Sorry, let me get these pieces of bread out. Yeah, just like a nice toast there. Yeah, yeah. Chicken sort of even got some marks on there too. But anyway, one thing I need to do real quick is actually get a shot of this for the product video that I'm shooting as well. So bear with me just one moment, and then you'll kind of see what goes sort of on again, sort of behind the scenes as well. So I'm just going to take a quick sort of video. So after using the S1 here as well as the Brizo fan temperature, take two. Hold on. All right, so I've used the S1 here alongside the Brizo fan here, and I've prepared some nice looking ribs here as well. One sort of just minor thing like I do just want to point out here. This was the first time using the Brizo fan, and as I was using it, I found that it didn't necessarily stop the heat from climbing once it's hit the target temperature. I did find that a little bit strange. It just sort of kept on going, even though I had already set a temperature of say 300. It would continue to pump air and go sort of even higher. So I again, I'm not sure if I was doing that wrong necessarily or what, but I think that's something that needs to be looked into, sort of as a sort of product continues to be better. All right, sort of some shots there behind the scenes. So let me put these back on. Now our internal temperature shot up just a little bit, but that's all right. I mean, they're still going to be good. So we'll close that up, and then I'll go ahead and take the probe out. We don't need that anymore. And what I'll do, I'm going to go ahead and take this out of its sort of a boat here and place it on the cutting board. Actually, yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Let's take this out. Yeah, those do look good. Let's take a quick picture of it real quick. All right. So like I said earlier, let's just go ahead and try one just to see how I did. And that's still going to be very, very hot. So Yeah, here, let me give it like just a moment here, just like to cool down. Again, you really should let it sort of rest some, but let's figure. Okay, so that's the bottom one, and then again, something that like I should have mentioned also is these are spare ribs or sort of St. Louis spare ribs. Spare ribs is kind of its own sort of category by itself, and it just means that the ribs are a little bit more like sort of cleaned up. They also have more meat than your typical baby back rib. Baby back ribs are I guess less meaty, although the the bones sort of easily sort of fall out. Now, I think it's sort of like a common sort of a misconception that you know, if like the bones sort of fall out, then it's really good. Usually, if the bones are very easily sort of falling out, then it's kind of a sign that you overcooked it a little bit. Um, you know, again, but again, again, but that's sort of up for a discussion, I guess. So I think this has cooled a little bit here. I'm just going to go ahead and try this as is. Really good. I think there could have been just like a little bit more salt in the in the sort of like the rub, but there's plenty of pepper. The garlic really comes through nicely. It's overall very good. But let's go ahead and figure out how I want to do this. Do this, I guess, sandwich here because you know again here. Let me actually stand up for this. It's going to be a little bit easier to cut. Oh, that's why. I was trying to cut on a bone, and I was like, "Gosh, like why is this not working?" But that's why. So let me do this. I'm gonna get a fork, and I'm actually gonna grab. Um, you know, what I might end up doing here is because these are not necessarily sort of fall off the bone type of ribs, I guess. Um, what I might end up doing is just taking some of this and almost like sort of chopping it up. You know, sort of very similar to sort of a pulled pork, I guess. Um, but let me get a fork real quick, and I'm gonna sort of just chop this up just a little bit. You know, and one thing I might do is I might just cut off the tops of this part and then put that on the let's flip this over here. Now I might be able to okay. So on this end, the bones definitely sort of come up, but they're not like, you know, falling off sort of on their own. They still have some, you know, sort of bite to them, I guess. Yeah, so this is okay. Okay, so this is what we'll do. We will use this sort of end to make our sandwich. All right. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to grab some of this barbecue sauce. I really need almost like a spoon here, but again, that's fine. This will work for now. So just a little bit there, And then let's get our meat on, like so. Let's go ahead and put a few pickles down. A few of our onions, thinly shaved. So that is my take on the McRib sandwich. So let's go ahead and try it. Mine's mine's pretty good. I definitely like. Now again, if I went over and tried that at my local, it's like my local McDonald's, it wouldn't be nowhere near that. Um, but yeah, let me just make sure that you guys got a good shot of that real quick. Let's see. Yeah, so let me sort of make sure that you guys have a good shot. It's good. It's good. I like it. Really, really good. So, guys, I think that's going to be it for this stream. Again, I did sort of most of the cooking prior to starting the stream. I didn't want to like bore you guys with like 2 hours of sort of just nonstop sort of talking like and just waiting for this to get done. So I decided to start the stream a little bit later this time. I think I might do that for like my longer cooks going forward. Um, just because again, there's no point in waiting around for 3, 4, 5 hours, right? Just sort of waiting for something to cook. I would now now there are times when I do want to do the streams where there's things that need to be made sort of while the main course is being made, right? If there's sides that need to be made, like and things like that, then and I'll definitely sort of use this opportunity to sort of show you guys that sort of process. But when it's really just like sort of waiting around and whatnot, that like there's really no point in um me sort of showing you just sort of me waiting around, right? So anyway, guys, this was my take on the McRib sandwich. Again, I did uh, my own pickles here. I did my own onions as well, and my own ribs, of course. So, mm, guys, thank you so much for your time, and I will catch you guys in the next stream. Take care.